pretty safe to say. God give it, God take it away. It's the worldwide American way.
What's going on, team? Proof here, and today I'm coming at you with a little combo video because people have been asking me to do combo videos with the new stuff that came out in set 13. So what I wanted to do is I want to give you guys a couple easy combos that you can do that are easy setups that don't require as many pieces, and then also want to give you guys a couple combos that require specific pieces to be in hand to use, just so you can see what you can do and keep just kind of keep the ideas in the back of your head about what you can do with certain set pieces in your hand. And I wanted to do this with face cam, but for whatever reason my software has been really funky lately and it's just dropping frames like raindrops. So I don't want to have to go through the whole thing of trying to sync up the audio if it desyncs itself, because I've done that before and it's a whole big process and it's not very fun. So it's kind of annoying because I did want to do face cam, but I hope you guys don't mind too much. So let's go ahead and hop into it, and hopefully it doesn't fall really far behind. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys two Agrias combos, one that's kind of generic and one that requires, specific pieces, and then I'm going to do the same with Picaro. So first is going to get through the Agrias combos. So this is going to be a first try combo that you can do if your opponent rides up to grade 3 before you. So you're going to ride up to our boy, Great Star, counter blast for his skill, toss in a card, something you don't really need. We're going to call out Prompt Cheetah as charge. And then you're going to stride into Agrias here. Now, most of the combos, or pretty much every combo when it shows, is going to require you to have Frog in hand. You're not going to always have Frog in hand, of course, but I think it'd be good to know what you can do if you have Frog available. So with our boy Frog here, we can choose to put it here behind Cheetah to make a 21k column, or we can put it on this side and line it up with our other charge unit, which you would like to have in hand for a situation like this. So this can make 16k just because it can force 10,000 on your opponent. So at the end of the day, it forces similar shield, but I'm of the idea that you want to try to force two 10k shield columns on both sides in this case. So we're going to put Frog behind our other charging unit, and then we're going to put an extra booster behind Cheetah. Ideally it'll be 21, but sometimes it won't always be the case. And then, excuse me, we're going to attack with our Cheetah side for 19 or 21 or what have you. And then at the end of the battle, we're going to Soul Blast, bind Cheetah, and we're going to call it back at rest, of course. You're going to repeat attacking with your other side here, and then you're going to attack with Agrias. You're going to counter blast, flip up an Agrias. You're going to bind these three here and keep Frog on the board. So bind, 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 and then we draw a card from Agrias, and then you're going to call out one charge unit, the non-Cheetah unit, in front of Frog here, and then we're going to put the Cheetah by itself on the other side because it gets the nice handy power boost here. And then you're going to do your triple drive, and whatever drive triggers you hit, you want to pass the power to Cheetah, because in the case of your opponent no garden, if you hit a trigger and they don't, or if you confuse myself, if they hit a damage trigger and you also hit a trigger, you're better off giving it to Cheetah, because then Cheetah can still hit your opponent's Vanguard, because Cheetah's skill only works after it attacks Vanguard. So we're going to triple drive, handy heal, and then a nice little draw trigger, and then they do their check, and then we attack with Cheetah again, and then after the battle, Soul Blast 1, bind it, and then you can call it back wherever really, and then attack with the other side here, and then this returns back to the deck because of charge, and then end your turn, and then at the end of the turn, Great Star's GB2 activates, tuck in the Cheetah, then you draw yourself an extra card as well. So you get off 5 attacks here with, ideally, you're always going to be forcing 10,000 shield on your opponent, which by spike standards, that's really good because usually our first strides aren't very impactful because we are always building up to some crazy big combo at the end. But that's something that you can do going second, and your opponent rises up first before you, rises up to 3 before you. So that's usually my favorite go-to combo, as long as I have my pieces in place to go into Hell Hard 8, or if I'm lacking the pieces to go into Hell Hard 8, I can go into that and put nice pressure on my opponent. So that's it for that particular combo. I'm going to set up another scenario where it requires a couple extra pieces to be able to utilize. So I'm gonna set it up and I'm gonna be right back. All right, back with the more intricate combo. And the key to this is to have Blackguard and Fake Bomber in your hand just to be able to go off on this particular combo. And if you do have these 2 pieces in place with 2 counter blasts, provided you have a couple extra pieces in your hand, you can get off 8 attacks on your opponent. So let's go ahead and go through the steps. So we're going to stride, go into our other Agrias here, and then from here we're going to put Bomber here, put our other 2 charges, and we're going to keep Blackguard in our hand for this case, because the goal is to refund via Fake Bomber having 2 counter blasts left over after you go through the refund. So, well, I don't know why this is showing 18K. That's fine. All right. So hit up that battle. Going to attack here for 16. Attack here for 16 or a number. Attack with Agrias here. Going to counterblast. Flip up wherever the other Agrias went. Agrias there. We can, in this case, if it's your, because this works best when it's your, if you G-guard into Agrias going second or going first, or if this is your second stride and beyond. So in this case, you can bind everything, even though it doesn't really matter in the case of Frog Raider. Then we draw a card, and then call back, call back, call back, call back, and then whenever we do our triple drive, we're going to give the trigger effects to Frog Raider because the power with Frog definitely comes in handy here. So nothing, get that. All right, and then from here, we're going to attack with this side. It goes away. And then we're going to attack on this side. Oops, he gets power because he's charging now. Here, and then Bomber skill activates. Soul Blast 2. Call out Blackguard over Frog Raider. And then we get our counter charge back. And then your opponent does what they do here. Return these 2 back to deck. Blackguard gets power. This side attacks for a nice number. At the end of the battle, Blackguard, he returns through charge and his skill activates. So counter blast 1, put a card from our hand into the soul. We're going to call out Star here, and then Star skill activates. So we counter blast 1, put a card from our hand into the soul, call out Fake Bomber here behind, and since they're both charging, they both get power. Make a nice 26K column. And then now we have 2 more soul in here for Fake Bomber. So this attacks, and then Bomber skill activates again. Soul Blast 2, and then ideally you have another charge unit in your hand to call over your Frog Raider. And double up on the idealies. It's like a Blackguard, something that's 9K and above to make a nice number here with Frog Raider. And then you get the counter charge again. These 2 go away, and then you get your last attack in here with Frog side, and then this goes away again. And then pass turn, and then you have the option to absorb Frog Raider to draw yourself another card, or your opponent has taken too much damage and lost the game. So I said that was 8 attacks, and for whatever, somebody can count it up for me, but every time I did the math, it came out with 8, because you get 1 here on this side, 1 here on this side, 1 with Vanguard, that's 3. You call out the same formation again, you got 4, then you have 5, and then you call out Blackguard, which is 6. And then after Blackguard does his thing, he calls out Star plus Fake Bomber, that's 7. And then whatever you call out with Fake Bomber's call again, that becomes number 8. So more intricate, no doubt, but very achievable as long as the pieces come together for you. And again, this one requires you to have Frog, Blackguard, and Fake Bomber in your hand, and of course a means to stride. So that'll do it for the 2 Agrias combos. I'm gonna come back with the first Picaro combo. All right, now we're back with the first Picaro combo, the more, or the less intricate one, but I do need this boyo here in the deck. Sorry about that. All right, so we're gonna stride here. We're gonna go into where he is, Picaro. And the key to this combo is you need to have at least 1 Cray Elemental face up, because we're gonna call out Rain Elemental tier from the deck. And you need to have 4 G guards so you can make, or 4 G units face up as you go into Picaro, because in this case you can make a full board. So we're going to attack, going to counter blast 2, put a card into Soul. We're going to flip up a Cray Elemental, and then we're going to call out, 2 frogs, wherever it is, tier, and then call you out, because you can make, and then call out, in my opinion, call out 2 charge units that can make 21k with your frog raiders here, whatever's available. Or you can call out Mayhem Tiger as well, because you're not going to be using the soul for much else in this case. And then you're going to do your triple drive, pass power here, and then these 2 sides, oops, skip the step. We'll just imagine that I had 2 soul here, so that way we can soul blast 2 for tier and then get the 2 counter blasts back. So then these 2 are both charging. They attack with 21k and goes back, and you don't use the first one, but you do want to have at least 1 Blackguard come out. This attacks, and then when it goes back, we're going to repeat with the Blackguard. We're going to put a card from our hand into Soul, call out Great Star, he's charged, and then he does his skill to put another card into Soul, and then from here you call out either a Blackguard or another Mayhem Tiger to take advantage of the soul you just gathered here. Whatever your opponent gives you. And then from here, he gets another 3,000 because he called something and he's charging. And then both sides attack. And then that goes away. In my opinion, it's best to do this combo when you're down to very few combo and pieces, like you have a lot of triggers in your hand and you just were able to stride, because you can make this board as long as the pieces are in your deck, and then you get the refund back from tier, and then you go into your Blackguard plus Great Star sequence, which doesn't require you to have specific things in your hand as long as you have enough cards in hand to pay for the cost to put a card from your hand into the soul that they require. So if you're down to like a last ditch effort type of thing, and you can't use Hellheart 8, or you can't use Agrias, or you can't use something like that, going into Picaro, making a board like I just showed you, and getting the benefits off of tier to get the counterblast back would be your best course of action, in my opinion. So that's a more general case there. And then I'm gonna pause it once more, and then I'm gonna set up a more intricate combo like before. All right, back here with Picaro combo that's a little more, or potentially a lot more intricate. So what we need for this combo here, we need to have our Crave face up, we have 3 cards in soul, and we need to have Blackguard in our hand. So let's say we just strode with this guy. We go into our Picaro again, and then we have our cards that we need set up. So we attack, counterblast 2. You also want to have preferably another good charge unit in your hand to call out. We're going to flip up Seabreeze or insert Cray here. I'm going to call you, call Tier, call Blackguard over top of Fate Bomber here. And then you want to call either another Blackguard here or another Cheetah if you have one available. Whatever can hit with the most power. That's not Mayhem Tiger here. And then we're gonna Soul Blast 2, get back our 2 counter charge. Oops. And then we're gonna pass triggers to Frog Raider, whatever might show up. And then we're going to attack with this side here, and this goes away. And now this is where things get a little tricky. So we're going to attack with this side here. Going to use Bomber skill to Soul Blast 2, call out our Blackguard here as charge, get our counter charge back, and your opponent does what they need to do to guard. And now both of these guys' charge abilities go on the standby at the same time because it's the end of the battle. You're going to put Fate Bomber back first, provided you don't have a second one in deck, and then you're going to put back Blackguard here. You're going to use Blackguard skill to counterblast 1, put a card from my hand into the soul, call out Fate Bomber back in the circle that it was behind, because, or call out Fate Bomber. And because Blackguard's limitation is that it has to be a non-grade 2 unit with charge ability, and you can't call to the circle that he previously occupied. So call out the Fate Bomber back in the circle that he was once in. Then from here, we're going to attack again. This Blackguard, after the end of the battle, he goes back to the deck. We're going to counterblast 1, put you into the soul, call out Great Star. Great Star does his skill, put you in, call out Blackguard back to this side as charge, of course. And then all these guys get some nice juicy power. And then he attacks and goes back away. He attacks, and now we have the soul necessary to do his skill again. And we're gonna call out our last charge unit here over top of Frog once more. And then these 2 go away. This guy attacks, and then he goes away. So that was, I didn't do the attack count up on this one. It was Vanguard, then it was the unit on this side, then it was the Blackguard on this side. Fate Bomber skill called out the Blackguard over here, then they did their tag shenanigans. So that was 3. 4 is the Blackguard on this side, called out Star. Star called out Blackguard again. This side here was 5. I think that was 5. I'm confusing myself now. I think it's 7 or 8 attacks from that sequence, as long as you have the pieces necessary in place. So I think that was 7 or 8. Somebody can do the count up for me, or I can watch it back again and count it back up. Oh goodness. But yeah, that'll do it for me I hope you enjoyed. Definitely look out for more. Check out my boy Skills web store. He's still offering the discounts. The link will still be down below. And yeah, that'll do it for me. Hope you enjoyed. And until next time, peace. Be easy.